Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So today is going to be a little story time. I kind of thought it was a good idea because I am actually going back to the place where this story took place today. But it's not like a horrible thing that happened, but it is a little bit scary. And I don't know, I just kind of thought about it because I was gonna go there, but I just wanted to talk about it. I just wanted to bring some awareness out there to some people, how scary and dangerous this world can be. It is kind of weird to think about, and I do get a little bit paranoid. But that's kind of just my personality. I overthink a lot of stuff, and it's just in my blood. But yeah, so I'm just gonna talk about it. So the story time is about the time I had a stalker at Walmart. So yes, I'm going to Walmart, but it's not a crazy place that I'm going. It's just Walmart. But still, it took place there, so it just kind of reminded me, and it was around this time of day when I went. Basically, this day, me and my mom went to Walmart. We were gonna go get some groceries, and spend some time together. That's usually our thing. I always go grocery shopping with her whenever I can. Because it's just fun, because every time there's always something new and something to look at. So anyways, we go to Walmart, and we were initially going for groceries. I feel like it's kind of important to talk about what I was wearing because, I don't know, it just kind of adds up to part of the story. So it was a nice warm day, so of course I thought it would be nice to wear a dress. And it wasn't a short dress at all. It was literally a t-shirt dress. It was all the way, because I'm short, so a t-shirt dress is going to be long on me compared to somebody that's a little bit taller. So it went down to my knees, so it was kind of long. It was a decent size, and it was a t-shirt, so it was wide, and it wasn't hugging my body or anything. It was just a regular casual dress, and then I had tennis shoes on. So yeah, me and my mom were going for groceries, but then we ended up finding our way to the cosmetic area, and we were just lingering and walking through all the aisles because we're super girly, so we were looking at all the new stuff that was out and things that we needed, and just being girls, talking and laughing and everything. And it kind of stood out to me that there's a man there. I noticed him because he was in the makeup area, and not that that's because I always see guys in the makeup area, but he didn't look like the type, I'm not stereotyping, that's the last thing I want to do, but you could just tell he wasn't there to look at makeup, and so we're over here just talking, but I did kind of glance over, and I saw him, and I was just okay, I see you, but I didn't think anything. I just noticed him. And so as I do, because I am very what's the word, I'm very observant and aware of everything, so I just scan around me, and I saw him. So I saw him, and then me and my mom went down to another aisle to look at other makeup, and then he ended up going back down that aisle that we were on, but he came on the opposite side, so he had gone all the way around to come to meet us in the middle kind of. And I saw him again, but I made eye contact, and I just smiled, friendly, I'm not gonna be rude, but I was and I kept walking. I wasn't overtly friendly, but I was just and then I kept walking. So we were going, and we're there for a while, and so was he, but then he ended up disappearing, and I thought he was gone, got what he needed. And so in the very back, there's eyelashes and lotion and stuff like that. And so we're over there looking at the, I think the eyelashes. And then I looked over at where the lotion is, and then I looked to the side, and that guy is there again. And he was over there squatting down, looking at a lotion, but he was all the way super low. How people scrap or crouch down to look at something, he was like really low, like lower than like you need to be looking at the bottom shelf. And then I looked at him, and then I saw that he had his phone out, and I don't know, like, I didn't think anything of it, but my mom kind of pointed it out, and it kind of creeps me out, but like, he had his phone like that, you know, and of course I was like standing right next to him, and I was wearing a dress, and that's why I felt like it was important to mention, because it was like very uncomfortable. Now that you think about that, you don't know, like, I don't know what he was doing. I'm not saying he was taking pictures or anything, and even if he did, I honestly don't think he could see up my dress, because, you know, it was really long, and I was a little bit too close, you know, but I just pray to God that he didn't. But yeah, so that was weird. And then we ended up walking around again, and then she went to go pay, because nowadays you have to kind of like pay for whatever you buy in the cosmetic area at the cosmetic area. So like, she was over there at the register, and then I come back to like look at something, I think, because I was like, oh, I want to see if they have such and such, like a powder or something. And so I ended up going, and that guy was like leaving the area, but then when he saw that I went back into the cosmetic area, he had like turned around and then went like where I was, and then he like smiled at me again, and then this time I was kind of like weirded out, because I'm like, why? It just felt weird. Like, at that moment I realized he was probably like following me or something. It was just weird. But yeah, he like smiled a little bit. Sorry, I popped my knuckles. But he smiled a little bit weird, and I was just like uncomfortable at that point. And so I went back to where my mom was, and then I noticed whenever I looked back at him, he had 2 phones. So that was another weird thing. It doesn't really add to this, like, it doesn't really mean anything to the story, but I just didn't notice that, and I don't know if that could mean something. But like, he did have like 2 phones, and he was out like that, and then he was like this, and he was like looking at both of them like that, and then he like took off out of the area. And so I was like, okay, that was weird. Why do you have 2 phones? But whatever. And so we go on about our day. I just like kind of forgot about it. And we're walking through the whole Walmart, because the cosmetic side is on the opposite side of the grocery. So we walked around the back and like past the electronics and like the toys and the bathroom stuff and all that to get to the groceries. I'm sorry, I'm thirsty. Yeah, I know, I'm drinking Dunkin' at 6:30, but anyway, I've been working on it all day, okay? But yeah, so we're all the way in the back, and then we are going to the grocery area at this time, and we were by like the produce, or no, we're by the dairy section, so like the milk and the eggs and all that. And so we're over there shopping and everything, and then we go up a little bit, or passing by like the chips and all that, and then I noticed that same guy again all the way like where we were. And the weird thing about it is that he wasn't holding anything, and he didn't have a basket, so he was just like walking around the store with nothing, pretty much. And so I kind of noticed that, and because at this time I was already like, ow, I was already on alert. And you know, because if you're being a little bit suspect, you know, like, I'm gonna notice you. So yeah, so I noticed that. I added that to my head. So I was like, okay, this guy's a little bit, you know, I need to keep an eye on him if I see him still. So we're over here in the chip aisle, and we're like looking at all the snacks and everything, and then we go down the other aisles, and this guy, okay, how can I describe it? He wasn't going down the aisles with us. He was staying kind of like on the edge of the aisle, where you could like go to all of the aisles. It's really confusing. So if there's like aisles, you go down this way, and then there's that aisle that's like right here, and is like the main aisle to get to all the aisles that are going like that. He was like lingering on this, but on the edge of the opening of the aisle that we were on. I really hope that makes sense. But yeah, so if we're in this aisle, he would stand on the edge, and then we'd go around and go to the next aisle, and then he'd move over and he'd stand on the edge here, and he just did that like 3 times. And so it was really weird at that point, and I was like, okay, this is like a little much. So, and he wasn't like buying anything. still. So he was just like looking and everything, and then I think I kind of alerted my mom about it, or she noticed it. I forgot who told who, but one of us were like, hey, like, do you see that guy? Like, he's being a little weird. And so we kind of like looked at him like all suspect, like excuse you, you know, like, what do you want? And so he noticed us looking at him like that, and he looked at us and he was just like, and then he like kind of like was like, he didn't move, but he like just looked the other way, like, but he was just like so stiff. It was so weird. But yeah, so like we kind of looked at him and then we're just like, whatever. And so like we kept going and we went all the way to the front. Oh no, I told her I was gonna like watch, I'm gonna see if he does something. And so I was like, let's go the other way instead of doing how we were doing, like we're going down the aisle, back up to the next aisle, back up, and then like that, like, you know, in and out, in and out. And I was like, how about we just go through the aisle and walk all the way and then go the other way, you know, to see if he really followed us. And he did. He did. So I was like, okay, like, And so at that point, I had texted Victor, and I was like, hey, like, just wanted to let you know there's, like, a weird guy, stalking us at Walmart. Like, or I probably didn't say stalking, but I was just like, there's this, like, guy, and he's following us around, and it's a little weird, and I don't know. And I wasn't replying to him right away because I didn't want him to, like, get too worried, but I did want to tell him something because you never know. You don't know. These days it's like super scary, and if I could like describe the person and then something happens, at least you'll know who to look for, you know, all that. And so I ended up giving him a description of what he looked like and like what he was wearing and all that. And then we were just like, we did, after I noticed he had followed us like so like annoying, like down the other aisle, we went all the way to the front where like the fruits and vegetables are, and we're like looking in that area like by the bananas, right? So the bananas are over here, and if you walk through the whole section of like the fruits and all, there's like the bakery, and he was like all the way at the bakery, and I was over here or with my mom by like the bananas and all the stuff like towards the edge. And I noticed him and I like looked at him and I was just like, I see you, like, you're being so obvious. And so he literally was just like standing all like that, and he was just like watching, and I was like, stop, you know, like it was weird. And so I told my mom, like, I was like looking at the bananas and I was like, hey, like he's still watching us, he's across that way, and it's weird, like he's still watching us. And then she was like, that guy's weird, like let's just go pay. And so me and her always do the self-checkout just because like it's a lot faster, and you know, we wanted to get out of there. So this guy is like all the way there, and then he follows us because like the bananas bakery, the checkout is right next to the bananas. So we literally just like walk, scoop, and then we're in the checkout area. And so he comes all the way from the bakery to go pay for like 2 things. He had like a little, I didn't even pay attention to what he bought, but he bought like little things, like 2 little things. And he was like, take me and her, when we noticed he did that, we were like, we're taking our sweet time, and I'm telling Victor and that, all that. And so at this point he was already on the way because he knows the Walmart that we go to, and I didn't even have to like say like, hey, can you come? He was just like, I'm on the way, because he's like, I love him for that. He's so protective, and like he literally like drove over there so fast, and just because he was like, you know, worried, but he drove over there and I knew he was coming. So I told her, I was like, just take your time, scan everything like super slow, bag it super slow, and then maybe he'll leave, you know, because he only got like 2 things. This guy literally took as long as we did to scan those 2 things. And oh my god, it was just so weird. And then after he was done paying for it, he ended up leaving the self-checkout, and he didn't go out the door. He literally went like he's going out the door and then all the way back. And he went all the way back to that bakery area, and then he started talking to some other guy that was dressed just like him, and they resembled each other. So they looked alike and they were dressed alike. And they're over there at the bakery talking and like looking at us and everything. And I was like, didn't you just pay? Like, I don't know, maybe he ordered something at the bakery, but he wasn't talking to the lady at the bakery at all. He was just there in front of it, and he was talking to that guy, and then they're just staring at us. So of course they weren't like doing anything over there that they should be, you know. And so I told her that, and I was like, oh my god, like he didn't leave. And we're just getting kind of like anxious, and like we didn't know like how to feel about it. And so we're just like kind of standing there, and I was like on alert, like I didn't even care. I was just like staring him down, and I was just like watching him. So she was already done paying, and then Victor said he was there, so I was like, okay, like let's go like wait for him by the door and he'll walk us out, you know. And so she was like finishing up paying, and that guy literally, like, they walked towards us from like where like the banana section was, and then the other guy, the new guy, like went out the door, and then he came right in front of us, because like we were facing like where you have to pass to get into the checkout, and we're paying, you know, like at the register, and he literally passed like right there in front of us, and he literally like freaking walked by like this. Watch, he went like that, and I was just like, oh my god, like I wanted to throw up. And so I was like, you were so creepy. And so see, like I'm all choking up because it was just like thinking about it. I was waiting for Victor, and he was like taking forever, it felt like, but he wasn't. Like it just felt like that because we are just like kind of anxious already. And the guy ended up like disappearing. Like I think he left, and I didn't see him after that. And I told Victor, like, I don't know where he is, because he came in the store all like guns a-blazing, and he was just like, where is he, who is he, and point him out to me. And I was like, I don't know where he went. Like he literally, like I felt like he knew that like I had told somebody to come, you know, or warned somebody, because he literally like disappeared like right when Victor showed up. And I was like, I'm not lying, I promise. And even my mom, like, she could vouch for me, and like it happened. Like we're not just being paranoid. Like it was so weird. And so we're all telling him everything that had happened, and like step by step, and what he looked like, and I don't know where he went, and all that. And he was like, okay, well, I'll just walk you out to your all's car. And even like when we went out to the parking lot, he was all like looking around, and like nothing, like we didn't see him at all. And we ended up leaving safe and sound. And then even Victor, he like followed us like halfway home just to be sure, and nothing ever happened. And I never saw him after that. But yeah, so that's the weird stalker story at Walmart. It was like really weird, and I wasn't gonna report it to worker because like he technically didn't do anything, you know, but he was like being super obvious and following us, and it was just a little bit, you know, much. And I felt like later, like when I got home, my mom was telling me how like he probably was all trying to take a picture of you because he was all kneeling with his phone and all that. And I was like, oh, it was hard to sleep that night, let me just say that. But it was just so uncomfortable, and it was very unsettling for sure. So that happened, and yeah, that was it pretty much. I never saw him again, but I'm just being super cautious. But I am going to say what he was wearing, because it kind of like, I don't know, like what me and my mom were saying was kind of like creepy. Like if you think about it, you know, it's probably not what was going to happen or what could have happened. But the guys that were like, or well, the first guy and then the guy that showed up after, they're both wearing scrubs. So of course me and my mom, we overthink everything together, and we're all like, oh my god, like they could have took us, and like they could have took our organs, and you don't even know what they would have done. And it was weird. So I just wanted to say that, because that kind of adds on to the eeriness about it, that they were literally in scrubs. But they weren't in like, I know that all scrubs kind of look the same, but to me, like, I'm being dead serious, that it literally looked like a scrub costume that you could get like at Party City. Like, it didn't look like, you know, the ones you wear to actual doctor's office or whatever. Like, I feel like, I don't know, I could be overthinking it, but still, like, I swear to you, like, it looks like the ones that you could get at a party store, you know, like a costume. So, who knows? He could have been pretending to be a nurse so that you could trust him, and he could have took you and whatever. So like that's just all the stuff that went through my mind, and I kind of just want to make this video as a warning to be sure to not trust everybody, even if they look trustworthy. Like, you never know. Like, it could be a disguise, you know, like people do anything, and a lot of people sadly that have good caring hearts are very gullible to that, and I being one of them, like I could literally understand how that could happen, you know. but at the same time, you have to have your guard up, especially when you live in a big city like I do. But it's really creepy. You have to have your guard up. You always got to be on your toes. Always make sure you're aware of your surroundings, and always like have something to protect yourself. Like on my keychain I have pepper spray. Victor gave me a pocket knife, and like we have stuff, or I did have stuff to protect us if if need be. But thank God it didn't get to that point. But yeah, so I just wanted to make this video just to like share it with everybody and give y'all, like, it was an interesting story for one, and also just like beware, like it happens everywhere, like you never know, and you just gotta be safe out here. Okay, so that will be the end of this story time. I hope it was interesting to some people, and I hope you will take some notes on how to take care of yourself and be aware of everyone. Don't get in dangerous situations. If you can, go everywhere with somebody. Like, oh my god. But yeah, just be safe, everybody. So thank you guys for watching this video. Please give it a big like for me, for some support and comfort after retelling this scary story. Well, it's scary to me, but yeah. And leave some comments for some suggestions for some videos I could make, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!